Tech in 5.
In an age where everything is online, how safe are you really? SQL injection is one of the most ancient, yet prevalent cyber threats. In this video, we're unraveling the mystery of SQL injection. At its core, SQL injection is about manipulating databases through insecure application code. Essentially, hackers insert malicious SQL code into input fields to trick the application into executing unintended commands. Imagine a door meant for trusted visitors, but someone manipulates the doorman into letting them in. That's SQL injection for databases. A classic example? The login page. Imagine this: you're on a standard login page, expecting a username and a password. But what if, instead of a legit username, someone inputs a tricky piece of SQL code? If the application isn't properly secured, this input can grant them access. The dangers of SQL injection range from unauthorized viewing of data to complete hijacking of a database, even erasing critical data. In recent years, SQL injection attacks have demonstrated their potency in data breaches involving large corporations. One notable instance occurred with the British telecom firm, TalkTalk. In 2015, TalkTalk fell victim to a significant cyber attack, resulting in the compromise of personal data for over 150,000 customers, including bank details, for more than 15,000. The attackers exploited an SQL injection vulnerability in the company's website, demonstrating how even established enterprises can overlook such fundamental security flaws. Another example, highlighting the evolving nature of SQL injection threats, happened in 2020. Cybersecurity giant Sophos detected a zero-day exploit targeting its XG firewall. The sophisticated attack exploited an SQL injection vulnerability in the product, which provided the attackers unauthorized access to the system. Upon successful exploitation, the attackers intended to deliver a Trojan aimed at stealing sensitive user data. After hearing about these breaches, it's crucial to understand that SQL injection isn't a singular technique. Classic SQL injection, blind SQL injection, time-based SQL injection, and out-of-band SQL injection. Attackers use different types of SQL injections based on the situation. Let's dive deep. Classic SQL injection. Here, attackers slide malicious SQL code straight into queries. When user input is directly included in SQL queries, without proper sanitization or parameterization, attackers can bypass authentication, retrieve hidden data or sensitive data, and even delete critical data from the database. Blind SQL injection, also called Boolean-based blind SQL injection. It is like a guessing game with the database. Attackers ask the database yes or no questions, and determines the answer from the application's feedback, even without seeing the actual data. For instance, using generic messages like email sent or user does not exist. Attackers can inject conditions, especially around password checks, to gain sensitive information. Based on the feedback, the attacker might determine that the first letter of the user's password is A, and they'll continue guessing the subsequent characters in a similar manner. Time-based SQL injection is a specific type of blind SQL injection, which attackers exploit response times. For instance, when an application only provides a generic message, such as reset instructions will be emailed, attackers will inject database delay function to intentionally introduce delays in the SQL query. The duration it takes for the application to respond provides the true or false answer, indicating whether their injected query was true or false. Out-of-band SQL injection is another type of blind SQL injection. This method is less common, but involves the injected SQL operation causing an external action, allowing the attacker to gather information. For instance, an attacker might inject specific command into the application. If the server is misconfigured to allow the external command, this would cause the server to make a DNS request to attacker.com looking for example.com. The attacker would notice the lookup and thereby confirm the vulnerability. With such formidable foes, how does a developer stand guard? Parameterized statements. Think of this as compartmentalizing. By keeping data and commands separate, we suffocate malicious inputs before they can attack. ORM systems. By using object relational mapping, we're essentially adding another layer of abstraction to SQL code, distancing direct attacks. Stay updated. Just as you'd update your wardrobe, it's essential to keep your software updated and patched. Doing so seals vulnerabilities that attackers eagerly look for. By being vigilant and adopting these practices, we can ensure our data remains in trusted hands. Stay tuned for more videos on Tech in 5.